Hey, this is going to be a quick video for mainly Casey and Vince, who ran into a problem in Cakewalk on Windows that had to do with fastly repeated notes and how it has this kind of machine gun effect. Casey and Vince did a really cool cover of My Dearest from Guilty Crown, so really cool project. What we're going to dig into is specifically like how to deal with like this effect. And so the audio on this whole thing might be bonkers because the best I can do or I can figure out to export audio um, and record from my computer is you're hearing it out of my speaker, so it's not going to be great. But I think you can still hear when I play this track here. This is the whatever the drum on the G5 is, which they used when it's played fast. But you can notice that if I hit this, you know, when I hit this, either set of these notes, which is playing the same sound, it doesn't change what file it's the same file, right? So this is what is just a normal kind of sampling. It's not round robin, which would be like this one. You see, it's actually alternating between two different recordings, right? One's just 6 and one's 4, and it doesn't matter in the case of the way they did this. It's not like one is 6 and the other's 4, like left is 6 and right is 4, or the natural and sharp. Natural sharp, they do the same thing, right? And they just alternate through these two hits, right? And I guess the idea of that is to make a more natural sound. For instance, where's my okay? So if I play versus, so part of it is just the sound quality, right? That second cause kind of got this kind of maybe unnatural reverb, but part of it is just that we heard the exact same ka 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 ka, which has this kind of robotic kind of feel to it versus one that's kind of this, because every time you hit the drum, it's not going to be exactly perfect, partially because of it's hard to hit it exactly the same way, but also the how that membrane's interacting. It's already wiggling and you're hitting it right. There's natural variation in the sounds we produce when we hit an instrument in the real world versus digitally kind of cue up its sound, right? So you can see then some of these are round robin and some of them are not. What I think is happening here, my guess is, look at the end of this files, like Taiko 1 /F1 F2. I think that's forte 1 forte 2. It's a loud hit, but just two different loud hits, right? You'll notice that some of them, this one doesn't, forte forte. Let me go down an octave. Where are we here? That's the same. That's the same. That's the same. That one's the same. Oh, a lot of these are just the same. This one's going between just two different hits, and this one's going between three different hits, which has an interesting effect when it's played in sequential. So I wanted to kind of show this maybe so I just was trying to find a way to deal with this sound. Like, we don't want to have this kind of machine gun feel sometimes, because I think they have this really nice composition that it takes away from in this case, right? So if I kind of, here's a little sample of some of the different ones. So the instrument that's on G5 and G5 sharp, this is round robin of 1, or it's not round robin, right? So we already heard that, right? That's the kind of effect it has. Let me cue up. The next one is the E5. This is 2, it's just forte 1, forte 2. So maybe better, but it's still a bit unnatural. Let's compare that again to the first one where there's not round robin. Okay, here's with round robin. So trying to ignore the difference in the tonality, right? It's just maybe, it still maybe feels a bit unnatural, a bit too reverby, and it's really just alternating between two sounds, but like maybe it's a bit better here. Let's look at this one, which is, so this was an interesting one. It's a round robin 2, but it looks like it's alternating between, you see this Taiko 1 -P versus -M. I think it's piano and mezzo. It's actually alternating between what was recorded as like a soft hit and what was recorded as like a medium hit. Maybe it was algorithmic, maybe they raised the piano. But it does seem like there is a bit of a dynamic variation. So let's compare. Oops, they're playing both at once. Sorry. Oof. Sorry. Yeah, there's definitely dynamic variation. Okay, so I think it really is just the piano and then the oops. So we can, if let's see if we can control for just decibel loudness. Just make these. What am I doing? Yeah, let's make it louder. Yeah, that's not pretty. Okay, but let me undo that. Let's look at this one, the F5. This is the one that's like the three. It's a round robin, but it's 3 samples. As far as I can tell, they are just 3 different hits. They don't have any indication what makes them different. When I had my headphones on, I thought one of them had a bit more of like rim in there, but I can't hear that now. But anyway, but just listen when 3 are on them. So that just introduced something to our composition. It's just kind of, you do definitely hear the triplet, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so you know, the round robin in that case didn't solve our problem. It kind of just introduced a new one. And then if you do this with headphones on too, like I think when we're up here, it's kind of hard, but like or even this soft one. I can't hear it now, but with the headphones on, I hear this like on that. This is, you know, these are what are these 16th notes on a 1 bar repetition. Over that 1 bar, when it's repeated, I hear the same kind of overtones happening in the same places. It's something that's like interacting with like its reverb. So yeah, you might, you know, we can kind of introduce other things by, you know, just this kind of repetition of notes, other kind of sounds into the mix. And then this last one was just, I think it's these ones. Just another example of unspecified. I think they're both similar volume hits, maybe, but just different recordings. And this one, you know, it's still kind of machine gunning. It's just 2 notes, right? Versus this one, right? I do think it gives us something maybe over that. Specifically, like in a composition with other stuff's going on. Like I think like this one's gonna like immediately grab my attention. This one will probably sound a bit unnatural. But so made me think like, so I think the round robin as a solution to the machine gun effect is it's part of a solution, but it's not the whole solution. So the reverb on these like might matter a lot too. I was goofing around with kind of these reverb, or you know, the ambient settings here. I couldn't really get that to work well. I mean, you might like play around with, I think, the duration of the note, kind of how it's, because I do think this pack, oops, can we, oh, it's not so. Yeah, listen, if I hold the note, I am getting something different than if I tap it. So you might be able to just by, maybe if I played around with this and didn't get that good of results. If I just decrease the duration of these notes, right? Maybe that's a way to do it. You know, maybe something in EQ too, particularly when we're getting a lot of these overtones, maybe that we're not trying to generate. So those are things too. And then the last thing that I can think of too is like the other thing about drum rolls. Part of why it might sound super unnatural is that like a very, very high velocity, like and very high velocity, high tempo, like drum roll is not common, right? Like to be able to hit as hard as we can, as fast as we can, is, you know, generally not what's happening. That might be kind of an artifact of us working in a digital place. So I think for all like drum rolls, kind of that are happening somewhat fast, you might consider if they really should be, you know, at this, you know, mezzo kind of velocity. Maybe it's just the naturalness of it comes out of like that it's not super loud too. Um, yeah, like so, but yeah, let's go back to our first one here. But oops, even if we reduce the velocity a lot, it's still a bit machine gun there, right? So, but maybe there's some combination of round robin and reverb kind of settings and velocity too. That yeah, this is quite high. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's right now what I was thinking, that you might have a better result with one of the instruments that is round robin, but it's not going to do everything for you. Oops. Yeah. So hopefully Kageyama Sensei has some tips for us, right? And then lastly, oops, yeah, how's that? How's this? Oof, that's weird. Kind of got a lot of flam going on there. Yeah. So maybe there's some better ways to think about this. Also, and then ultimately too is like, what is the purpose of the demo? If the demo is for you to just share an idea, but that it's ultimately going to be recorded on a live instrument, right? Then maybe don't invest too much time or energy trying to make it sound right in the DAW. But if it's something that we want to compose and work with in the DAW, yeah, we're gonna probably want to try to find what works best in terms of how to approach something like a drum roll or very fast sequence of notes. So that's what I just wanted to kind of show you where I was looking here, like to see which of these were round robin. I thought it was a little weird that they or it seems like the documentation was like suggesting that the whole set was round robin, but it's really I think just some of them, right? Yeah. So, oops. Yeah. Yeah. I think these ones were, I don't know. Maybe I forgot if they did a demo or something, but I think they were working up there. But yeah. Yeah, so you can look for the round robinness there. You can play around with the velocities, so that maybe they don't naturally get that high when you're doing that fast of note. And then lastly, reverb and EQ and stuff like that. So yeah, sorry I don't have a better solution, but if this helps in your trying to figure out one, just kind of want to share what I've been thinking about and experimenting with. Okay, good work on that on your first assignment, Vincent and Casey. That was real fun to listen to. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.